Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel." In that single line lies a timeless truth. People are more easily deceived by appearances than by reality, and those who understand this can influence the world in ways most people never will. Machiavelli wasn't born into power, yet he spent his life surrounded by it. He studied the minds of rulers, soldiers, and schemers, men who controlled kingdoms and shaped history. From this experience, he discovered a set of hidden rules, not about morality or justice, but about human nature. Rules that reveal how people think, react, and can be guided without ever realizing it. These rules are not about manipulation in the cruel sense, but about understanding the forces that drive behavior. Because when you understand people, you can predict them. And when you can predict them, you can outsmart them, not through deceit, but through insight. So how can you outsmart anyone in seconds? The answer begins with awareness of others and of yourself. Machiavelli believed that intelligence was not measured by knowledge, but by perception. "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally," he said, meaning that wisdom lies in seeing what others refuse to see, reading between the lines, noticing the motives behind words, and acting before others even realize what's happening. In every conversation, in every negotiation, there are invisible games of power being played. Most people play unconsciously. They react emotionally, seek approval, or reveal too much. But those who follow Machiavelli's principles learn to observe instead of react, to question instead of assume, and to conceal instead of expose. He believed that understanding human weakness was the foundation of strength, not to exploit it cruelly, but to navigate it intelligently. Because the truth is, people rarely act rationally. They act emotionally, driven by fear, pride, and desire. Machiavelli understood that the one who controls emotions, their own and others, controls the outcome. He once wrote, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." This is the first hidden rule. Control yourself before trying to control others. The moment you let anger, ego, or fear dictate your response, you've already lost the game. The calm mind always wins, because it sees clearly. Machiavelli advised leaders to appear emotional when needed, but to never be emotional in truth, because emotion clouds judgment, and judgment decides victory. In modern life, this rule is as powerful as ever. Whether in business, relationships, or social dynamics, people who stay calm under pressure instantly gain authority. They seem wiser, more trustworthy, and more capable, not because they are perfect, but because they don't panic when others do. The second hidden rule is always observe motives, not words. Machiavelli warned that everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. He understood that people lie constantly, not just to others, but to themselves. They hide behind masks of virtue, kindness, or confidence. But underneath, their true motives always leak through small details, a tone of voice, a glance, a hesitation. He advised his followers to train their perception. Don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do when no one is watching. Don't react to their words. React to their intentions. Because the person who sees motives instead of appearances will always make better decisions. In today's world, where everyone presents an image, on social media, at work, even in friendships, this rule is gold. Outsmarting someone doesn't always mean defeating them. Often it means understanding them better than they understand themselves. When you can see what drives a person, fear of loss, hunger for approval, desire for power, you can predict every move they'll make. Machiavelli's third hidden rule is never reveal your entire hand. He believed that mystery is power. Once people fully understand you, your intentions, emotions, and plans, they can control you. But when you remain unpredictable, they must always react to you. He wrote, It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. What he meant was that in a world full of players, the one who can hide his strategy longest controls the game. To outsmart others, you must master the art of selective truth. Say less than necessary, show less than you know, and act only when timing is perfect. Most people rush to prove themselves. They overshare, over-explain, or overreact. Machiavelli warned that this is how power slips away. The silent observer always has the advantage. When others speak, they expose themselves. When you stay quiet, they fill the silence with clues. He advised rulers to appear open and honest, but to keep their real thoughts hidden, not out of cruelty, but out of caution. Because trust, while noble, can be dangerous in a world driven by ambition. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception, he wrote. What he meant wasn't to lie, but to understand that subtle influence often wins where aggression fails. Consider how this applies today. The person who listens more than they talk, who asks questions instead of giving opinions, who observes instead of interrupts, that person becomes powerful in any room. People will open up to them, reveal information, and seek their approval, not realizing they've already given away control. Another of Machiavelli's hidden lessons was the importance of timing. He believed that life rewards those who act at the right moment, not too soon, not too late. He said, "Fortune is a woman. If you wish to control her, you must treat her boldly." In other words, hesitation is costly. Those who wait for perfect conditions never move. But those who sense opportunity and strike while others hesitate win. To outsmart someone is not always about intellect. It's about rhythm, knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, when to act, and when to wait. Timing creates the illusion of brilliance. When your actions appear effortless and perfectly timed, others assume you are always right, even when you're not. Machiavelli also taught that perception is stronger than truth. He wrote, "The great majority of mankind are satisfied with appearances as though they were realities." This rule explains much of the modern world. The person who appears confident, powerful, or successful will often be treated as such, even if the reality is different. To outsmart others, you must manage how you are perceived. Control your tone, your posture, your energy. Appear calm under pressure, even when uncertain. Appear knowledgeable, even when learning. Appear unbothered, even when challenged. People's minds fill in the blanks. They assume strength where they see composure, intelligence where they see restraint. Machiavelli warned that honesty without strategy is weakness. You can tell the truth, but tell it wisely. He admired leaders who could shape perception without betraying their core values. "It is not titles that honor men," he said, "but men that honor titles." Power is not in your position. It's in how others see you. Now, perhaps the most misunderstood of Machiavelli's teachings. Use kindness as strategy. While many label him as ruthless, he actually valued intelligence over cruelty. He understood that people follow those who make them feel important. Men are driven by two principal motives, love and fear, he said. But love is held by a chain of obligation which men, because they are wicked, break whenever it serves their purpose. He concluded that fear lasts longer than love, but that the wise ruler blends both. The truly powerful person is respected for their strength and admired for their generosity. Outsmarting others doesn't always mean dominating them. Often it means making them believe they are in control. Give people enough freedom to feel powerful, but enough guidance to steer them where you want them to go. Machiavelli's wisdom applies beyond politics. In personal relationships, business, and leadership, understanding emotional balance between warmth and firmness gives you influence that force never could. He also warned of the greatest weakness of all, ego. The need to be admired, to win every argument, to prove superiority. These impulses destroy intelligence. Machiavelli advised leaders to see praise and criticism alike as traps. When someone flatters you, they seek your favor. When they insult you, they seek your reaction. The truly wise remain steady. He wrote, "Never was anything great achieved without danger," which means that the path to mastery requires risk, the risk of being misunderstood, envied, or opposed. But those who understand the game of human nature rise above it. They no longer seek validation, they seek results. To outsmart others, you must play a longer game. While most people chase immediate wins, the Machiavellian mind thinks in patterns and probabilities. It anticipates outcomes, predicts reactions, and prepares responses before they're needed. This foresight makes you appear almost prophetic, as if you can see the future. In truth, it's not magic, it's psychology. Machiavelli's study of power was a study of human predictability. Once you understand that most people crave comfort, recognition, and certainty, you can guide them easily. You don't need to manipulate, you just need to understand. His final and perhaps most powerful rule is this: never stop learning human behavior. The game never ends because people never stop changing. Those who rely on old tricks eventually fail, but those who keep observing, evolving, and refining their understanding of others remain ahead forever. Machiavelli's wisdom wasn't about corruption, it was about realism. He accepted human flaws and taught how to work with them, not against them. He saw the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. That's why his insights remain relevant centuries later, because human nature hasn't changed. So, how can you apply these lessons today? First, master your emotions. Learn to pause before reacting. That split second of calm gives you power. Second, observe motives, not words. What drives people tells you more than what they say. Third, control your image. Appear confident, but stay humble. Let others underestimate you. It gives you space to move freely. Fourth, time your actions. Don't rush to prove yourself. Wait until the moment is right, then act decisively. And finally, keep learning. Study people not with judgment, but with curiosity. Every person you meet is a lesson in strategy. Machiavelli once said, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." Those who adapt, endure. Those who observe, understand. Those who understand, influence. To outsmart anyone is not to trick them. It is to see them clearly. And in that clarity, you gain the power to act with precision, confidence, and purpose. The world will always be full of noise, emotions, opinions, competition. But the person who can stay calm, observant, and strategic will always rise above it. Machiavelli's rules remind us that intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing enough to move wisely. So the next time you walk into a room, remember, listen more than you speak. Observe more than you react. Appear less than you know. Let others play checkers while you play chess. Because in a world where most people reveal themselves too quickly, the one who remains unreadable always wins. And that, as Machiavelli would say, is the highest form of power.